Hello and welcome to the my first time playing Lord of the Rings Online. I'm Joe, and yeah, I've been watching the documentary about Tolkien's life, or his writing at least. Um, actually, I watched it once a few days ago, and I'm going to watch it again later. Currently, trying to think of topics to do for Valentine's Day for two of the channels, namely uh, namely the Power Ranger channel and the Fantasy Corner. Power Rangers I may just make the video about, I don't know, maybe Trini and her romance with I think Richie's his name. He was a side character. I know most fans would prefer to do Kimberly and Tommy, or Kat and Tommy, or uh, some other pairing. I don't know. I don't really care about it, but I have to do something for Valentine's Day for that channel. And maybe I'll do a Lightspeed Rescue video. Maybe about Carter and Donna, or Kelsey and her love interest from, I think, episode 2. Because she's pretty much, well, she is the first lesbian Power Ranger. And this was back in like 1998 or 2001. It was in the background. It wasn't very important to the overall plot. But the love story itself was rather sweet and endearing, just as Carter's implied romance with Donna kind of was. Although Dan's the one who kind of is a bit more invested in these pairings. I'm not terribly interested. As to the Fantasy Corner, I may just recount the tale of Tuor and Idril or something. I would have done Sam and Rosie, but
One thing drives
the thing
out
is,
another.
Yoyston from Men of the West is doing that, and I can't outdo him. And I'm not even going to try. So, Tuor and Idril it is. Hmm. Okay. And it's camp on the... Which, I guess the Tuor video could go nicely with my Turin Turambar video that's going to be up and ready by tomorrow or Tuesday. Depends on how fast I can edit the video. I'm still editing it. I think this way leads west. Must be up there. So I'm gonna have Turin Turambar, Tuor, and then after that, the morality behind the world of Middle Earth. Essentially, what is the primary moral / philosophical theme of The Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, and Silmarillion? And because I'm fascinated by that element, and I know there's a lot of hope involved, but I mean outside, other than that, because I do touch on that in that video. Well, I've written the script. I haven't recorded it yet because touring, but I wrote the script and I'm going to record it, but I can't upload it for next week after I'm done recording because I need a Valentine's Day video. Sorry for discussing a bit of the scheduling issues of running the Fantasy Corner and Power Rangers Corner. It's just, that's kind of on my mind right now. Now, if you're more interested in my thoughts on the French Lord of the Rings, the main thing is, sorry, just waiting for it to load. The main thing I've noticed, now I'm at chapter 3, or in the middle of it, but I'm not reading very quickly on purpose. And what's more is I'm just taking the time to enjoy the language.
Is a moment of your time too much to ask?
Oh, I thought this was a request at directing. Well,
Is
sure.
a moment of your time too much to ask?
I'll deal with that one later.
Greetings. Could I speak with you a moment?
I'll accept. Well, I gotta get ahead here. And so this camp. Maybe I can cross the river. Not my wisest idea. Now, oh, and excuse me for taking a bit of time to talk. Also, I have a bit of gum in my mouth. As right before that, my breath was atrocious. So I needed a bit of a gum / Tic Tac to, well, comfort me in that regard, in regards to my breath. I like to have good breath. Now, the French variant is, so far, still interesting. There are some linguistic choices I would not make, as said before, like plaisir, or treasure, instead of precious. That being said, other than that, there's not too much difference between the English and the French edition. It's pretty much a direct translation, or as direct as it can get, given the differences in languages, and that French is very, very different from English in a lot of ways, and a lot of things in French don't translate very well. Every language is kind of like that. But other than that, it's almost a direct translation. It's rock solid. François Ledoux did a great job. He knocked it out of the ballpark and has captured a great deal of the spirit of Tolkien's work so far. The language and prose that's utilized,
Hello.
I kind of feel helps me appreciate in some ways Bilbo a bit
Please stay a moment.
more how do I put it? Helps me to appreciate Frodo a bit more than before. And then there's, how do I put it? Gandalf is written very similarly. He's written very well. And I really like the language used with Gandalf. Now, there's
Why are you bothering me?
I'll just okay, I have to go tap. Add so again. Now, the thing is that when Frodo is sitting in his chair thinking, and Gandalf's thinking, the moment feels a lot more pensive to an extent than in the English edition. And it also feels kind of quieter, almost. It's just... Now, that said,
What do you need? Please, stay a moment.
the part where Gandalf comments, you know, like, you will see me unclothed or something, is better in French, because it's
I do
essentially...
not ask much of you.
It essentially says, you'll see me without... Okay, this isn't exactly it, but without my jacket. And... let me just... I think I have to go there, don't I? Because the thing is, the word used here instead of clothes. Now, they could have said sans linge, but I think they said sans manteau. And this is essentially unjacketed. And I kind of like that a bit more, because whenever I see that unclothed kind of statement, I just think, oh shoot, is Gandalf gonna flash Bilbo? Oh Lord, no, please no. Whereas in the French edition, it doesn't come off like that, and so you don't get that hilarious, if disturbing image in your head. What's more is the language kind of used suggests Gandalf's a little angrier than in the English edition. Now, the language used almost proposes Gandalf is, from what I can recall, because it's in the other room, my French copy of Lord of the Rings, is that Gandalf's almost frothing at the mouth against Frodo. Not Frodo, but Bilbo. And the thing is, in the English edition, he's merely, I think, wrathful. And I really like that, but I don't know, I just like him uh, being angrier than that, I guess. Because Bilbo did threaten him. That said, once he sags, he doesn't just simply sag. He's really kind of filled with a great deal of, like, the French language here does a great job showing the remorse and warmth that Gandalf feels for Bilbo in that moment. The English language does, of course, a perfect job because it's the original, but I really like how the French language kind of exacerbates some of the extremities of the prose, so to speak, where we get a sense of, yeah, there's no, like, Gandalf is angry. He's full of wrath at Bilbo for threatening him. Alright, I lost that quest thing. Okay, I have no idea. Oh, okay. Now, I have no idea where that quest thing went. Buckland. Oh. Well, I did something stupid, but at least I got so carried away by talking, I forgot about some of the... I forgot to check out the quest description once it changed a little. I should level up before I approach that those two red quests. I'll do battle here. Now, what's interesting is by making the language slightly more extreme, the moment feels really dramatic in a different way, because you get the sense that in the French version, Gandalf's red-faced at Bilbo over, the whole ring. That said, you then get the sense of him being moved to tears by having done, the two of them having come into conflict. And the soft, quiet moment of Bilbo's departure, Frodo and the scenes with Frodo and Gandalf feel a little more pronounced in some ways. And, like, I really love these scenes in your English edition. Now, it's been about a year since I've read the almost a year and a half since I've read Lord of the Rings in English. Yeah, I know, for shame. But the thing is, with this part, is that I always like these scenes, and I always found they offered a great deal of insight into the characters and their minds and hearts. And I liked seeing them interact, Bilbo, Frodo, Gandalf. And I liked that Bilbo was chatty in The Hobbit, and I liked the quietness of Frodo. Now, when I first read Lord of the Rings at 26, I wasn't initially sure of what to make of this quietness. Now, then on my reread, I have to admit to have been rather intrigued, and now I'm just downright smitten with it. I really love Frodo's quietness, in marked contrast to Bilbo's chattiness. Now, I still like Bilbo better. Sorry, guys. I really have a soft spot in my heart for Bilbo. And I do like Sam and Merry probably the most of all the hobbits, but Frodo just has a very interesting kind of air about him. And the feeling of the character has been perfectly captured in the French edition. As to Gandalf, I really like Gandalf. I really like his temper. Hell, just check out all the various Gandalf videos we have in the Fantasy Corner. We've got one Gandalf analysis video, and almost our entire Hobbit Book Club podcast is just us just praising Gandalf and doing appreciation videos almost all about him. He's probably one of my top 10 favorite characters of Tolkien. But, well, him, Sam, and Mary, along with, I guess, the Witch King of Angmar. I just really like the Witch King. Anyways, as to Frodo, he's got these really interesting moments. Now, the poetry has been butchered, and they could have gone for a similar rhyme scheme that Tolkien did, but instead they did a direct translation with none of the rhymes, which I hate the French translation of the poems. And I just ended up kind of thinking, and I shouldn't be thinking this, but I could do a better job at translating the poems. Hell, I've got a friend I do D&D with that he's French too, and he could do a better job translating those poems. I've got two best friends that I grew up with that could do a better job translating the poems. I've got my editor, who's also my tutor for my who corrects my essays for my English essays for my Scottish medieval history program. I've tutored her in French and corrected her French essays, and she could do a better job translating from English to French the poems of J.R.R. Tolkien. Because this guy he's just not interested. And I hate that. Because I love Tolkien's poetry. He's one of my favorite poets of all times. He's in my top 3. And to see his poems butchered without any respect shown towards them is just, honestly, for shame. Part of me just wanted to cry. Man, I felt so utterly heartbroken by that. That said, he captures the moments between Frodo and Gandalf so beautifully. It just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I should say that when the forge I thought he might sell me some goods. But when Ledoux gets it right, he gets it right. But when he gets it wrong, he gets it wrong. Like, Plaisal, treasure, precious. He should have used plaisir ou plaisirs. Because precious in French can be either male or female. The language always works like that. It's weird. And in a lot of ways. But most fellow French speakers I know, like, when it comes to spoken French, they never really give it much thought. They don't care. But when it comes to written French, it's very important. That said, the closest term for precious is plaisir. Just use the direct translation here, not plaisal. Yeah, plaisal captures better the spirit to an extent, And Plaisir is kind of different, but it's better to go with the actual translation here because Trésor suggests treasure or treasury. That said, Plaisir does capture some of the spirit of precious. It's complicated. So there are things I agree with, things I disagree with the translation. Now, I know I'm nitpicking it, but the thing with Tolkien's books is that they are amongst my favorite books of all times. Now, I am more attached to the Silmarillion than I am Lord of the Rings, and that just has to do with my very special warmth, not warmth, my very, very special love for the Silmarillion, which is tied in first place as my favorite novel of all times.
Greetings.
Whereas Lord of the Rings ranks like, I don't know, probably like number 9 or something in my top 10 list or something. But that said, I just want. That said, though, I don't think I have too much to complain about with Chapter 2 of the French translation, except for the whole Trésor Plaisir thing. And I just love the Gandalf Frodo moments in French. And I also really love the French prose with Sam. It's really interesting. And the prose in French, in a lot of ways, makes Sam feel very young and youthful. And I really like that. Because compared to Frodo, I do imagine him as being a much younger man. He's not.
Won't you give me even a moment?
He's not like considerably younger, but I always got a sense, yeah, he is younger. That said, there's probably someone who will tell me in the comments, oh yeah, this is how many years apart in age that they are. And feel free. All I know is I think that Pippin, from what memory serves, is the youngest of the hobbits. Now, Merry has only shown up once so far, and they just made him snarky. Although the English version makes him feel snarkier and a little wittier. So that's something that English Merry has over the French edition. Not that I've seen much of him, but it's just you have the one scene with the Sackville Bagginses, I think, and the scene plays out considerably better with the English prose. But, well, in terms of Merry,
What can I do for you?
I don't know, like, I'm enjoying the prose, but I would have really liked to see what might have happened had Tolkien himself done a French translation or written an entire epic like Lord of the Rings or Silmarillion in French for the French, as he did with Lord of the Rings for the English speaking world in general and the English themselves. But so far that's my chapter 1 and 2 analysis right there of the French edition. I think I've played enough. I did a lot of side quests and whatnot. I haven't even made my way to finishing that No Time for Tours quest. Now, figure it out. I'll just deal with every other quest if I have to. I'm enjoying this. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and want to hear me talk some more about French Lord of the Rings, let me know. I might, if no one comments on that, talk a bit about Conan the Barbarian next time, but I do enjoy analyzing the French, this thing out is, I know, the French translation of Lord of the Rings. So if you enjoyed this video and look forward to the next one, leave a like. It really helps. Every like helps, guys. I really appreciate it. You can talk to me in the comments. I do check the comments. It might take me a day or two to notice a comment in the Gaming Corner's chat. Well, chat, comment section, actually. But I do notice, and I do reply. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button like you're Morgoth trying to smash Fingolfin into itty-bitty pieces, because, well, you guys subscribing really helps the channel too. And if you're curious about Turin and Tuor, over the course of this week, go check out the Fantasy Corner. I'll be uploading those videos as soon as I can. Well, Tour 1 will be put on February 14th, which is probably about the time that I'm going to finish it, because it takes me days to put together the video. And, well, until next time, take care, and, well, as Power Rangers would put it, may the power protect you all.